Hey guys, it's Farmall. Started working on the lid for the hot tub yesterday. Before I got rained out. This is all I got done. This is the 2x2 frame, and it's not pressure treated because I didn't have enough treated lumber to build this. And then it has some scrap tin, and I thought, what would be better than sheet metal on a redneck project? So we got that, and the neat part is going to be the way it hinges. I have a design in my head. I'm not positive if it's going to work or not, but we will see. So I need some hinges. So I think, well, there's a door inside the shed down here. There used to be, you can see that patch right there? There was actually a wood stove in the right hand side coming from this direction that he had a sauna in there. So I've taken that out, and I took the hinges off of there. They're the same as these hinges. And I thought, well, I'll use those. But there's 4 of those. There was 2 here, and there was 2 inside. And I'd show you, but it's locked now, and the key's out at the barn. So I took those hinges. I was going to use those. But then I got to thinking, my outside wood stove has some really cheap chintzy hinges on it, and these barn hinges would work really good for that. So I came down and I found these hinges out in the barn. So I thought, well, I'll put these hinges on the shed door, and then I'll have 4 of the barn door hinges, which I can put on the outside wood stove, which is what I'm working on right now. And I wasn't going to make a video of it, but I got to thinking, I don't think I've showed you guys this. This right here is an outside wood boiler. Let me zoom in. I built this probably 10 years ago, and it's not finished yet. And it's like one of those tailors or whatever. I found some plans online and modified them a little bit and built that outside wood stove, which I haven't finished because I don't have the radiant heat or anything in the house. But I got to thinking, I had a wood stove in the house that I wasn't using because there just isn't room. So I built this little building, and I put the wood stove in this building. And these ducts here, the bottom one here brings the air from the house. There's actually an old furnace blower sitting right in there, and those are insulated. There's actually a smaller size inside, and there's 3.5 inches of insulation around those before I put them together, both of those. So this bottom one blows the air into this chamber, which is fairly sealed fairly well. The only leakage that could be is around the door, and that's got a rubber gasket on it which I need to repair. And then it blows the heat out of this room back into the house there. And there's a damper on this, so when the blower shuts off, the damper closes. And there's also a damper in this one, so when the blower shuts off, the damper closes to keep down on drafts. Now these 2 rods I added last year. The bottom one works the air inlet to the stove, and the top one works the damper. So it used to be you get a fire going in there, and then 10 minutes later it's going too much, and it's getting too hot. So I'll open this up and show you inside. It's dirty. I haven't cleaned in here yet from last year, but we got electric and everything in here, and you can see the insulated ducts. I never really finished it in here because it doesn't really matter. Well, if you can see down in there, the damper's shut. That tin will fly right open when the blower kicks on. There's a switch here that heats up when the fire's going hot enough. It'll heat that switch up there and turn the blower on. And then this is the upper rod here that works the damper. And this is the lower rod which works this. There's a little thermostat thing inside this part of the wood stove. I don't know, the camera's blocking the light. There's a little thermostat thing inside here, and depending on where you set this, there's a flapper down inside here that lets the air into the stove. And I draw that air from outside. That way when this room is slightly pressurized, not so much air can get in. There's a little bit can get in around where the chain goes through, but it's caulked right to the back of the stove, so you don't force the fire to go too hot. And then the entire thing is built out of 2x6s, and it's all insulated. The floor, everything is insulated. This is a piece of stainless plate just to keep down on fire hazard. 3/4 inch plywood floor to hold the weight of it. 2x6s, 16 on center. And then the entire thing has got cement board in it. It's all been caulked with silicone, and that's basically it. I have to do some work on this seal here. This idea didn't work out so well for the space between the doors, but it works great along here. It's just a piece of rubber that's folded over like in a hump, and it seals really good all the way around. But the hinges were lacking, so let me get that light. So we got to get better hinges on it. So I got these from the shed, and we're going to put them on there to replace these little chintzy ones. I was trying to save a little money, and turns out it was good that I did, because I got these bigger hinges for free off of the shed anyway. So we started on this end. We're just going to replace those hinges, and that should make it better. I had planned on painting this summer, but didn't get around to it. The OSB is starting to swell a little bit, but that's alright. It's only temporary till I decide what I'm going to do with the house. And I got a light there that I can run from inside, and that way it lights it up so I can see my fire. And there's my wood shed. So anyway, I'm going to get on these hinges. Well, there we go. Got the hinges on there. The doors work pretty good. They're both open and close. As long as they close together in the middle, we'll be all set. So, yep. Just have to fix my rubber molding. I'm going to part a little bit at the bottom. I'm going to redo how that works. And I want to redo how the latch works, because this is always a pain in the neck. But other than that, she's back together now. So job well done. And I got a couple of these cheapo hinges for the Redneck Hot Tub. So we'll get back to that project now. Alright, well, here's what we got so far. Mounted these pressure treated pieces of 2x4 under the lip, and I drove 5 holes through the cast iron top on both sides. There's one over here too. And of course this is porcelain, and drill bits don't like porcelain, so I touched my grinder on there in 5 spots first and ground the porcelain off. And once you get it hot, it kind of like blisters and comes off of there anyway. So that's where we're at so far. We're going to be attaching our hinging mechanism to these, one on each side, and I'm going to do that right now. Alrighty. We got the hinge brackets all mounted onto the lid. I've ground the edges off. It's still kind of sharp being tin. So I might see if I got some kind of rubber, or you could always use the good old standby duct tape, just so there's no sharp edges. You might be wondering, what the hell were you thinking when you did this? Why didn't you just put the hinge right here? Well, watch. The idea is, when you open the lid, it'll rest on the seat fairly flat and create a kind of a table. So, you know, if you want to snuggle in the hot tub with your honey, you need a place to put some cheese and crackers and a couple glasses of wine. There you go. Redneck in style. So anyway, that's probably going to about do it for the Redneck hot tub for this winter. It's getting cold out. It's pretty cold out right now. In fact, I'm quitting and going in. Give me something warm to eat. It's threatening rain off and on. Then the sun will poke out. Weather's kind of weird today. But anyway, there's that. If it's decent out tomorrow, I might move it. Probably back in there behind the tractor if I get the tractor to start. It ain't been running a long time. We get that thing fired up and moved. Probably ought to think about putting a snowplow on too. Since last year I waited until there was a foot of snow, which is never good to do. So anyway, there she be. The lid is on. I'm pretty happy with it. So thanks for watching, and as always, tune in next time for more craziness.